Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darison Chauskas. Today is the 26th of September 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're gonna have a look at a few instruments. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so we can probably jump straight into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on is the S&P. Now, the S&P 500 here, as you can see, last week we've managed to reach some all-time highs on Friday, but then still, nevertheless, after we reached the all-time highs on Friday, the Friday's candle still closed in the bearish zone, and we can see that we're having a follow-through here of some selling activity. And yesterday we've managed to close the index here just slightly, just a few points below this level here, this high that we saw here around the 29th of August. Certainly, as you can see here on the slightly bigger picture, we are still trading above this I would probably say still short-term upside support line taken from the 28th of June, and we continue to trade above it. Certainly at the moment it seems that the direction that the index is showing, it's kind of aiming for this possible test of this short-term upside support line. Now, of course, will that be the case or not? We'll have to see. But a good confirmation would be, yep, if we continue trading here today below this level, below this 2916.5 level. Now, this is where it could become interesting, because we could see further decline here to the downside, maybe a test again of this upside, this short-term upside support line, from which where, or actually should I say, where the bulls might take advantage of the lower price and maybe start jumping in here, and then potentially driving this one back up here towards the all-time highs that we saw here around the 2941 zone, so approximately there. Now, this could be a possible scenario, but only if we see rejections happening here around this upside short-term upside support line. Only then we could, like I said, aim for higher levels. And again, another good confirmation for such a scenario would be if, let's say, we would go back down here, test this upside support line, and then reverse and close back above this 2916.5 level. Now, this could be, like I said, this could be a nice potential signal for some upcoming strength, and we could see another possible test of the this all-time high that we saw here around the 2941 level. And if that doesn't hold, well, it could open the path towards an even higher level. So, but of course, this is a scenario until this short-term upside support line remains, or should I say, is broken, until it's broken. So if we do get actually a break here below this upside support line, well, I mean, still, it could still be in the longer term, from the longer term perspective, it still could look a bit more to the bullish side, but we could, from the shorter term perspective, we could see a bit of declines here, initially aiming, of course, towards the 2885 level here, marked by the lows of the 17th of September. And then if that doesn't hold, we could see a further decline towards this 2865 zone, which, as you can see here, acted as a very good area of support around the 7th of September. So something like this could be possible. Let me just put it in arrow here. And again, further declines below that. This is where we could potentially aim for this long-term upwards moving support line taken from the, or actually should I say more a medium-term upside support support line taken from the low of the 2nd of April. Now this line could also act as a nice magnet, but again, for a test of this line, we would need to see a good close initially, of course, close below this short-term upside support line, and then a break below these two key levels that I was just talking about, key support levels that I was just talking about. So again, guys, long story short, for now, keep your eyes on this short-term upside support line. Let's see if it holds. If it holds, wonderful. Let's see if it actually, if the index manages to close back above this 2916.5 level. If it doesn't, well, stay cautious, because we could maybe see a bit of a decline here. But then again, for us to become more comfortable with the downside, we would need to see initially a good break here and a close below this short-term upside support line. So keep your eyes on that one. Let's have a look at Brent, and Brent is at a very interesting spot right now. So overall, as you can see, we're continuing to trade here above this long-term upwards support line here, taken from the low of around the 21st of June last year, and it continues to trade here above that line. Now also from the shorter term perspective, you can see that there's also a nice short-term upside support line that's kind of dictating the direction right now. But at the same time, as you can see now, the commodity is kind of struggling to overcome this level right here, the 8160. Now, just to kind of remind you and go back into history, the 8160 was a nice area of resistance here, seen. Let me just actually drag this in there. Seen on the 21st of November 2014. So this is quite an important level right now. You can see that the commodity is struggling to overcome that barrier, but eventually, if it does, now of course, before I go back into the where the chart is right now, you can see that we do have the next potential area of support here around this 10th of November, also 2014, and above that we do have the 88 level, the nice number of 88, which was marked here by the nice area of resistance here on the 29th of October and also the 15th of October, and again the same year, 2014. So basically we're now testing the levels last seen in 2014. So of course the big question here is, are we gonna comfortably break those levels and head higher, or actually this is going to be something of a strong barrier for Brent, from which it will reverse back down here and aim again for this short-term upside support line initially. But if that doesn't hold, well, we could see further declines here. But of course, let's not over speculate here too much. Initially, of course, let's see how this day is going to close. And then for us to get comfortable with the downside, we would need to see a good close here. Well, to be honest, not only below this upside support line, but also below this key area here, which in the recent past acted as a very nice area of resistance, but now it will be a nice good level of support, and that's around the 79.80 mark. So a nice good close below that level could open the path towards these lower levels. So for now, be very careful, stay sharp, and of course on the upside here, keep your eyes on the 8160. If we do get a nice close here, close above this level, then this could potentially open the path towards this 84.95 level that I was talking about, and this was one of the highs that we saw in November 2014. Let's jump into a few pairs now, and the first one I want to touch on is the Aussie dollar. Now, I was talking about this one in one of my previous videos recently, and we're still waiting for a good move here from the Aussie dollar. You can see that it's kind of stuck here between, well, stuck here below this downside resistance line taken from the 26th of January this year, and of course it still cannot break this key area of support around the 0.7235, and of course if we do get a close here below this level, then, well, from the short-term perspective, we could see maybe this one traveling a little bit lower here, maybe testing this 0.7140 level marked by the lows of the 17th of September. And of course, if that doesn't hold, it could move all the way down here towards the lowest point of September that we saw here in Aussie dollar, and that's around 0.7085 mark. So of course, we still have a few days left in September, but to be honest, judging by this, I mean, I doubt that it will actually break one of these levels here. But for now, of course, keep your eyes on this. Of course, like I said, for us to get comfortable with the downside, we need to get a close below this 0.7235. For now, it seems that this level continues to hold, and if we actually get a nice pop here to the upside and we close above this downside resistance line, now this could be something of an interest for the bulls, where initially they could aim for the 0.736282, and then of course aiming even higher towards the 0.7485 mark, approximately there, which would also actually coincide with the 200 EMA here shown on the daily chart. So something like this could be possible, but then again, let's not rush into this, because first we need to see this nice good close above this downside resistance line. Let's jump into quickly. I want to touch on euro dollar, and this one I was talking about this one this morning, and I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this upside support line, the short-term upside support line. As you can see now, the pair is testing that line. So basically keep your eyes on the close today, because if we get a close below that level, below this line, then yep, I mean, this could confirm some upcoming weakness here on the and to be honest, let me actually going into this 4-hour chart right now. As I can see, I probably need to slightly adjust my line here, and as you can see now, we're breaking that line. And of course, if this is where it's going to stay here today, now this again, like I said, this is opening the path nicely towards lower levels. Again, we could see a possible test of the 117, or even lower, going lower here towards the 116.60 mark. As you can see, it acted as a very nice area of support here in the past, and also acted as resistance. So again, like I said, it's too early to talk about the downside yet, because we need to see a good close below this line today. And if we do get that, then yep, we could expect this one maybe dropping a little bit further. So but for now, we're just bouncing near that level, near this 117.35, and let's see how this develops later on throughout this day. Jumping into NZDUSD, now that's one of the important ones to keep an eye on, because we do have the RBNZ tonight, and something for you guys to keep an eye on. Like I said, be very careful if you like to trade this pair, because we could potentially get some movement here. Now, judging by this 4-hour chart right now, we can see that it's kind of retracing. It had a nice pop here yesterday, but you can see that today we're having our retracement back to the downside, and now we're going to be getting closer towards this level right here near the 0.6630 mark. So a nice good confirmed break and a close below this level could open the path towards these lower levels. Now let me just adjust these a few, because I haven't touched NZD for USD for quite a while now, but something like this could be possible, and this is where we could aim for lower levels if we get a break here below this level right here, the 0.6630 mark. So approximately there. So keep your eyes on that. Again, like I said, it could play out as a nice trade, maybe for a short period of time only, but nevertheless, like I said, keep your eyes on it, because like if we get a break here, then yep, we could potentially travel a little bit lower here towards the 0.6595 initially, or even a little bit lower towards this next potential area of support around the 0.6570. On the upside, for us to get comfortable with the upside, now this is, of course, it would need to travel a little bit higher here, and we would need to see a nice good close initially above the 0.6688 mark, and then of course a close above the 0.67 mark. So again, the upside at the moment, judging by this, it's a bit tricky to talk about the upside, but nevertheless, if we want to be a bit on the cautious side and not to risk it too much, we would wait until we would get a nice close above the 0.67 in order to kind of aim for higher levels then. So for now, just keep an eye on it. And really quickly, one last pair that I really wanted to touch on, and that's euro against the Turkish lira. Now, jumping into the daily chart here, you can see that we were balancing around this this upside support line here, but we started breaking it to the downside. Of course, the day is not finished yet, but if this is going to continue like this way, then yep, we could end up moving lower towards the 6.9975 zone, approximately there, of course. But again, with the downside, with like further declines or let's say further declines in the near term, for us to see those, we would need to see a good close below this level that I was just talking about, this 6.9975, and then we could aim for such lows like we saw in mid-August, or to be more precise, around the 16th of August, and that's around this 6.4865 area, approximately there. If this pair remains above this short-term upside support line today, then, well, we could aim for the next potential area of resistance here around this 7.62 mark here by the high around of the 13th of September, or even going even higher here towards the 8.006. So keep your eyes on this, keep your eyes on today's close, and again, let's not rush into this yet, but wait for a better confirmation here, probably where I've got the highlighted area. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. I kind of went a bit overboard with my time, but I hope you found it useful, and if you want to join me tomorrow morning in my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. For now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.